Clang! Anyone still in there? Party's over. A cleaner yelled from outside the restroom. I don't know how long I've been hiding. Merverlin left me here. Back to his honored alpha status, off to the dinner party. That's all about him. Clang! Clang! He kept slamming the door when he saw it was still locked. I didn't answer. I'd rather rot in here. Merverlin took my virginity, and it ended me. When I didn't respond, the man left. Silence rushed in. I had nowhere to go. I couldn't go back to that so-called home. Luna, Noemi, and Alpha Wizmail were probably searching, but they were the last people I wanted to face. Maybe I really should just go to hell. Esme. The voice came from somewhere deep in my mind. I bolted upright, heart hammering, eyes sweeping the empty room. I am your wolf, Esme. My wolf. Heat surged from my heart and swept through my body. I knew this feeling. I was about to shift. I gritted my teeth through the pain, slammed through the stall door, then through the bathroom door, and ran for the trees. As I sprinted, my limbs warped, bones cracking, muscles stretching, until paws hit earth. I lifted my head to the full moon and swallowed the urge to howl. Right there in the middle of my run, I decided. I had to get out of here. All this time, I never knew my exact birthday. I didn't know when I'd be an adult. I wasn't prepared for the shift, and it had to be today. I slipped through the forest, searching for a place to hide. I needed to be out of this territory before dawn. Rustling, the bushes near my hideout trembled. In wolf form, my senses sharpened. The scent on the air was a male alpha. I arched my back, bared my teeth, claws dug into the dirt. But he didn't barge in. His voice stayed low. Esme, is that you? Gabe. He was sure I was here. Sorry, I've been looking for you all night. I saw the door you smashed in the bathroom and followed your scent. Are you shifted? New to my wolf. I was raw suspicious. He kept talking, gentle but firm. Esme, the first shift is brutal. Don't be afraid. I'll help you. But what? He drew a breath. You probably can't smell it yet, but you seem to be in heat. In heat. A heavy coat flew over the bush and landed at my paws. Gabe's voice followed. Shift to human and dress. You need to leave now. Before he could finish, I shifted back, pulled on the coat, and stepped out. He froze, eyes catching on the wreck of me, mud, sweat, and everything I couldn't wash away. My what? I asked. His gaze held mine. You smell sweet and dangerous. I frowned and took a step back, ready to bolt. He only gave a small, steady laugh. You're safe with me. I'll take you home. Do your promises still hold true? I cut in. He blinked, confused. Take me away, I said. Now, author's point of view. Merverlin, tell the truth. What the hell did you do to Esme? Alpha Yismael's voice thundered across the room at the man seated in the center. Luna Noemi wiped at her tears. Search parties had left in 3 teams. None had returned with her. All they found were torn clothes in the forest, busted doors in the bathroom, and the sweet omega scent drifting through the trees. Esme had come of age and shifted into a wolf. It's my fault, Luna Noemi sobbed. I shouldn't have left her alone. Beta Dawson burst in. Alpha found it. Luna Noemi shot to her feet. Was she kidnapped? And no, Dawson stammered. Merverlin's patience snapped. Spit it out now. Dawson swallowed hard. We believe Miss Esme ran off with Alpha Gabe. He injured our border soldiers. Silence fell, stunned and heavy. Our men are in pursuit, Dawson added, voice small. Luna Noemi collapsed into her husband's arms, weeping. She didn't understand why Esme couldn't accept the family's love. Merverlin stood rigid, fists clenched, a cold sneer cutting across his face. Run away. You think you can run from me. How many are there behind us? I gasped between ragged breaths. Gabe glanced over. Enough to drag us both back to the Golden Claw Pack if we stop running. My face went cold. I risked a look over my shoulder, and there they were, the hound's Alpha Yismael's trackers. Their noses are legendary. They can follow a scent for miles. There's no way I can outrun them. There's only one way: to block my scent. I'll carry you, Gabe said without hesitation. On my back. I'll run faster and it'll throw them off our scent. I nodded and slowed. He crouched. I jumped onto his back, arms tight around his shoulders, and we bolted across the border. We didn't stop until the hounds were finally behind us. Until the wind carried only the smells of earth and hay. We'd reached his pack's land, the Cartley pack. He led me to a farmhouse and turned to me, voice low and sincere. Go inside, the woman will take you in. I'll deal with the ones chasing us. He wasn't wrong, but I'd never been alone in a strange place, never safely. Fear tugged at me. I can't be alone. Gabe's hands settled on my shoulders, warm and steady. He leaned closer, voice gentle but firm. They won't hurt you. I have to get back to the mansion now. I can't let them find you. I swallowed hard and nodded. Gabe shifted into his wolf form in a flash of muscle and fur, then vanished into the trees. I stared up at the farmhouse he'd chosen for me. My feet wouldn't move. I didn't have the courage to barge in, so I stood on the threshold trying to gather my words. Are you lost? A small voice piped up. I looked around. People were passing on the road, glancing my way, curiosity sharpening their eyes. Oh God, if anyone saw me arrive with their heir, it could cost me my life. Are you lost, sister? I looked down. A little boy stared up at me with round green eyes, clothes plain and neat. An omega like me. I managed to smile and crouch to his height. I am, a little, your mom. My mom's out, he said, nodding, like this was perfectly normal. She said she'll have guests today. I winced. I didn't feel like much of a guest. You can come to my house too, he blurted, bright as the sun. We have food. Sweet, naive child. He didn't seem to know that bad people exist. I brushed his hair back and shook my head. I'll wait for your mom to come home. Okay, you can't just invite strangers in. He scratched his head, unconvinced, then smiled anyway. But Mommy told me to help people who need help. What a cute kid. His face lit up, eyes flicking past me. Mommy, I turned. A woman came up the path, arms full of wrapped food. She froze the instant she saw me. Esme. I opened my mouth to answer, but the bundles tumbled from her hands as she rushed forward, pulling the boy behind her. Turk, why didn't you wait for me at home? Her glare hit me like a slap hatred, stark and sharp. The Havelocks and the Chevalier had waged a brutal war years ago. Soldiers died by the hundreds. On the ledgers, they were numbers. In homes like this, they were sons, husbands, fathers. Peace might bind rulers together, but not the people they left behind. Why are you here? She demanded. I glanced at Turk. Confusion wrinkled his small face. He was too young to understand any of this. I get that you're scared, I said softly, but I'm not here to hurt you or Turk. I'm the guest Alpha Gabe arranged. Her brows knit, the tension in her shoulders eased by a thread. Alpha Gabe said the guest was a poor homeless guy. How could it be you? Turk slipped from her grip and scampered toward the kitchen. I pressed my lips together. How could I explain any of it? It's complicated. But I'm really homeless now, you see. I lifted my hands, showing the filthy coat, gesturing to my tangled hair. This is all I have. She held my gaze, then stepped back and opened the door. A slow breath, come in. The moment I crossed the threshold, Turk reappeared like a whirlwind, grabbing my hand and pulling me toward the small dining table. He chattered about how good his mom, Laura, was at cooking and fussed over setting a place for me, as if I were royalty. When I sat, he beamed. Esme, you're a princess. Can you take me to my father? Laura, busy at the counter, didn't look up. Turk, go get some water. I started to rise. She stopped me with a look, a warning. After Turk slipped out, she spoke, voice low and steady. Turk's father died in the war. I need you to help me keep it a secret. My lips trembled. I thought I knew hell, being bullied, ignored, even violated. But this was the world carved up by war, and I'd barely seen it. She met my eyes. Turk wants to be as brave as his father. I don't want him disappointed. I nodded slowly. I promise. I handed her a plate. The floor shuddered beneath us. I grabbed the countertop as dishes rattled, the air thrumming with distant boots and steel. The Golden Claw Army is here. Alpha Merverlin, please, calm down. We shouldn't start a war for no reason. An old man knelt in front of me, hands shaking, trying to stop me from ordering the attack on the Cartley pack. This was the 5th one today. I wasn't about to waste more time. How do you want to die? He went silent. I glanced back at Dawson. He understood and stepped forward to drag the man away. Tyrant, the man yelled, still undeterred. Tyrant. Maybe all I knew was what I wanted was mine. My men bashed the guards at the gate with ease. I hadn't even brought my strongest. The Cartley were as lousy as their leader. I signaled Beta Dawson. He lunged and snatched a little kid running in the street. The boy struggled, but those small arms were no match for my right hand on his collar. Dawson held him up by the neck of his shirt, dangling him like a pendant in front of me. The kid stared at me, wide-eyed with fear. I smirked. "You run fast," I asked low. He shook, but nodded anyway. I signaled Dawson to put him down. The boy hit the ground on his feet. Alpha, he stuttered. He knew me. Everyone does. I crouched to his level. I want you to run fast and fetch the Alpha air for me. Announce our arrival while you do it. Do you understand? Why, yes, Alpha, he chirped. Dawson stomped his boot. The kid bolted. We held position at the gate. My men stayed still. It didn't take long before Gabe came out, 2 supporting Alphas tailing him. My lips curved into a dark smile. He didn't look happy. What is the meaning of this, Merverlan? He growled. I walked toward him, slow. His minions lifted their guard, but he waved them down. I chuckled. Why only 2? Where was the rest of their manpower? I slid my hands into my pockets. You know exactly what I want. You've got my favorite toy. You brought her with you. I don't know what you're talking about. I might have believed that if you'd had the balls to kill my warriors who witnessed your escape, but you didn't. What makes you think I'd come here with no confirmation at all? I believe there's a better place to discuss. We're in the best place I know, Alpha Gabe. Don't chicken out on me. Let your people hear how you abducted my sister. I cut him off. The onlookers stared, stunned, their air obedient as a dog. Couldn't be that man, could he? I did not abduct her, he snapped. I saved her from you. My smirk faded. Esme told me what you've done to her. A lot of it. The Werewolf Council would love to hear it too. Silence settled. Only the wind hissing past our ears. I glanced at my troops, waiting for my command. It would be a pity to retreat. I'd brought the best warriors of my pack. You think I won't act just because you brought her here. I'm telling you now, hand her over, or you die. His face changed. I raised my hand, about to unleash my army, when Ben the Whisperer came sprinting toward me. I looked his way. You'd better have something important. He bowed, breathless. Alpha Yismael and Luna Noemi have been attacked. The Yearwoods have broken into our pack. My eyes widened. What, Esme's point of view, you have to hide. Laura yanked the lid off the huge water jar and dragged it aside. She'd emptied it so I could climb in. I squeezed myself inside like a fox into a burrow. She was about to close the lid when I stopped her. I can't just hide here. I have to help you. You don't know him. He doesn't care that Turk is only 13, I whispered, nerve sparking. Laura leaned back in, palms cradling my cheeks. You're not helping anyone. Your scent is too obvious. I hesitated, then nodded. She slid the lid into place. I don't know how long I've been in here. The longer I wait, the worse my thoughts get. What if they smell me? Merverlin can sense me from miles away. What if he's already punishing Laura and Turk? I can't. I have to get out. I pushed the heavy lid up over my head, eased it aside, and climbed out of the jar. Laura? No answer. I grabbed a small towel and threw it over my hair, trying to muffle my scent. I have to find them. Turk? I shouted. Outside, people were running, everyone streaming toward the pack house. Was Cartley under attack? Were we being ambushed by the Golden Claw army? Was this all because of me? Lore, someone slammed into my shoulder. I stumbled, fell, and the stampede churned past, blind to me on the ground. A woo-oo. My pupils turned to pinpricks. That howl. Who died? There was so much happening at once. I didn't even have time to save myself. I curled in, arms over my head, just trying not to get trampled. I was on the brink of giving up when a hand yanked me up from the drowning sea of bodies. "Get up, girl!" A harsh-looking man barked. He hefted me onto his shoulders and shoved aside the werewolves who got in his way. I squinted at the unfamiliar road ahead. Who are you? Why'd you save me? I'm someone you don't want to know. Don't worry, I won't sell you. The Alpha's waiting for you. His voice was raspy, like a cough had been clawing at his throat for weeks. I stared at him, wary. I needed to know whose Alpha we were talking about. Who do you serve? I asked, barely above a whisper. I wasn't sure anymore about all of Merverlin's followers. He seemed to find new ones every day. Some people liked his cruelty. They believed the strong always win, and they were willing to submit. You'll see in a minute. He tossed me forward, and I fell into a familiar embrace. Esme. Gabe's voice caught. Great, it's him. He wrapped me up, trembling with worry. I'm sorry I left you. I shouldn't have done that. It was stupid. Are you hurt anywhere? His hands skimmed over me, searching for pain. He found plenty. I'll bring you the pack healer. He glanced past me at the tough man who'd carried me. Thank you, Clavio. Clavio only stared once, then turned and left. No reply, no bow, just gone. What gave him the nerve to be that rough, that rude, with the air? Gabe started to stand, but I caught his sleeve. Gabe, I'm fine. My wounds heal quickly. He studied my face, as if testing whether I was faking bravery. In the end, he chose to believe me. He led me into a warm room and settled me on a bed. As soon as I sat, a question burned up my throat. Gabe? I said. His men shot me a glare at the lack of title. Right, Alpha. I'd forgotten. Gabe cut them a look over his shoulder, and the two slipped out. He turned back to me and sat beside the bed. His pheromones carried a dark, sad weight. The howling. I'd heard howling earlier. A chill crawled down my spine. Who had died? I couldn't bear the thought, not if it was anyone. My lips trembled. I think I'm hallucinating. I heard howling. Is something wrong? Gabe pressed his lips together and lifted his gaze to mine. He took a long breath. Esme, I'm sorry. Sorry. What does that mean? Ice rippled through me. I shook my head, trying to push away the worst thought. What? Sorry for what? He edged closer, eyes flickering. It's Alpha Wismail and Luna Noemi. Their pack was attacked, and they've been sacrificed. What? It felt like a wrecking ball slammed into my chest. Tears burst hot and uncontrollable. I shook my head, refusing to believe any of it. No way, you're kidding. Gabe said nothing. The silence made it real. Say it! My voice broke. Tell me you're kidding. How was I supposed to believe this? I never called them Mom and Dad, but everything they did for me. That was what parents do. Before I left, Luna Noemi picked a dress for me and promised I'd have the same grand bar mitzvah. Why is this happening? Why is the world so unfair? Panic took over. I tried to climb off the bed. I had to go back. But Gabe caught me around the waist, talking, shouting. Something I couldn't even hear. All I could see was how good they'd been to me. How could such good people die so fast? Let go of me. I need to go back. His hands tightened, pinning me to the mattress. Calm down. I stopped fighting. The truth was, I wasn't strong enough to break his hold. The dam inside me shattered anyway, and a raw cry tore out of me. What can I do? I have to go see them. Gabe's eyes were red, grief hollowing his face. Merverlin is the leader now, he said. voice low and rough. If you go back now, you're going back to die. 1 week later. Alpha, our forces have breached Yearwood. Dawson's voice cut through the mind link, but this time there was no thrill of victory. My fists clenched. I ground out the order, each word a blade. Kill them all, every last one, and bring John's head back to me. I'd flown home the day I learned the terrible news. By the time I returned, the bastards had already retreated. I closed my eyes. The scenes from that day slid into place like a nightmare on repeat. Growls, screams, the air thick with blood and smoke, my mother lying on the floor, a deep claw mark across her neck, bathed in her own blood, my father by the fireplace, burned to a crisp. From that second on, I decided I would stop at nothing to take revenge for my parents. I would hang their heads on the gate of my gold claw pack, and the rats hiding in the shadows. None of you will escape. The carpenters have repaired the gate's Alpha. The heads are now displayed on the gate. However, Dawson cleared his throat. The people are complaining about the rotten smell. I stared at him, flat and cold. He went silent. I dragged my gaze back to the blueprint on my desk. The vultures will eat them. If anyone has a problem with that, they can take it up with me. But Alpha, one more word, and you can hang there with them. He dropped his head at once. I'm sorry, Alpha. I knew what he meant. In the eyes of those council elders, I was a tyrant. I'd already received more condemnations than I could count. If they wanted to play their boring game, I could play along. For now, I still had to root out the traitor who colluded with Yearwood. Oh, and I hadn't forgotten the one meant to be mine, my dear stepsister. I lifted my eyes without looking directly at Dawson. Get out. Tell everyone else to leave as well. Okay, he slipped out. 30 minutes later. Clang. The door flew inward under Clavio's boot. The crack of splintering wood snapped my attention up. I stared at the wrecked door, took a slow breath, and pinned the anger down where it belonged. He couldn't care less. He threw himself into the chair opposite and snapped. What's up again? Clavio was a rogue I met when I was 14, and he was 18. I beat him in single combat. From that moment on, he was mine. I kept him in the shadows, where almost no one knew he existed. His latest assignment lurked in the Cartley pack. I exhaled and asked, "How is she?" His head jerked up, incredulous. Again. The urgent thing you called me for was an update on that woman's life. I nodded once. Continue. He leaned back, chin tipped up, eyes mocking. What do you want to hear? Report truthfully. He leaned forward, elbows on my desk. She's having a good time. So, you finally decided to leave her alone. He lifted a brow, baiting me. As if. I picked up the summons from the werewolf court and set it in front of him, tapping the wood once. Bring her to court alive. He frowned at the seal, then at me. You. Stop asking questions. Carry out my order. Esme's point of view. Miss Esme, you should eat a bit more. Alpha is worried about you. The maid Gabe assigned to me says that every day. I still have no appetite. I tore my gaze from the window. Leave it on the table. I'll eat later. I wouldn't. I'd pour it out. She saw I wouldn't budge, set the tray down, and slipped out. By all rights, this should be the life I dreamed of. Gabe doesn't cage me in the name of protection. He doesn't ask me for anything, but I can't sleep. Every time I close my eyes, I see Alpha Wismail and Luna Noemi's deaths. Right there in my living room. The screams. The blood spattered across the floor. I keep trying to reach them, to grab them, to pull them back, but my hands pass through them and they can't see me. Every time that memory hits, my eyes sting and the tears come. They must have blamed me for running away without a word after all their kindness. In the end, I didn't even go back to attend their funeral. I was a selfish, cowardly asshole. Knock. I turned to the door. Come in. Gabe eased inside. His eyes flicked to the untouched plates. He picked one up, walked over, and sat across from me. You don't like it. I forced a smile and shook my head. I'm just full. Don't blame anyone. He pressed his lips together, then let it go. Esme, he said gently. Didn't you say you wanted to see Turk and Miss Laura? My heart jumped at their names. I nodded too fast. Gabe said they'd gone home, but I didn't know how they were. I'd been worried and too weak to go. He saw my relief and smiled. I'll have Clavio escort you. You're not coming with me. The words tumbled out before I could stop them. Heat rushed to my cheeks. What alpha has time to escort someone like me? He didn't laugh. His voice softened, tinged with apology. I want to, but I have some work. I frowned. Anxiety spiked. What kind of work is Merverlin? Number, he cut in quickly. Don't worry. Merverlin won't be doing anything for a while. What does that even mean? Gabe saw the confusion on my face and sighed. You should know, Merverlin is going to be judged by the werewolf court soon because he killed a lot of people in Yearwood and he trailed off. I could guess the rest. He must have done something vicious, like he always does. But this time, all I could think was that he did the right thing. Those people deserve to go to hell. Author's point of view. Back at the office, Gabe dialed a number. She will be of great use. The werewolf court. Today, the werewolf court will hear the case of the massacre initiated by Merverlin Gold. Chancellor Alfred Gold announced. Clunk. Before Alfred could finish, Merverlin sank into his chair. Alfred lifted his gaze to the cocky man across from him, and, with measured grace, closed the file in his hand. Please, be seated. It took a beat for the room to recover. Chairs scraped. Voices rose uneasy, buzzing. How arrogant. Yeah, ferocious. But the moment Merverlin's eyes swept over them, the whispers died. Silence snapped back into place. He let out a quiet, mocking grunt through his nose. In his eyes, they were all kindness on the surface, and nothing but cowardice underneath. Dang. Silence. Alfred brought the gavel down, and the room obeyed. He turned, face set, and addressed the cynical man before him. Merverlin Gold, please stand for questioning. Merverlin didn't move. He didn't even look up. He kept his head bowed, fingers idly toying, calculating whether Esme would be brought in or not. The gavel struck again, every eye in the room fixed on Alfred and Merverlin. The elder seated beside Merverlin nudged him, a warning not to disrespect the court. Merverlin rose slowly. He kept his hands braced on the table, leaned forward and stared Alfred down. What is it you wish to ask, my uncle? Alfred's grip tightened on the papers. He was, in fact, Merverlin's uncle, his father's brother. But he loathed being reduced to that. He had earned this seat, the moon goddess's representative on Earth, a judge on his own merits. And still, this insolent nephew refused to show him a shred of respect. He didn't break eye contact. You will address me as your honor. Merverlin didn't answer. He straightened, head cocked, waiting for the question. Alfred drew a long breath. We have received allegations that you massacred all of Yearwood's soldiers. Is this true? Merverlin didn't answer directly. His fists clenched, voice hard. They hurt my people first. The subtext was clear. Those men had asked for death. Wow. A stir rippled through the gallery. Shock, disgust, disbelief. Alfred pressed on. You also humiliated their corpses, didn't you? He didn't wait for a response. Before that, you marched into Cartley without cause. How do you explain that? The lawyer at Merverlin's side leaned forward, but Merverlin's large hand pressed him back. He spoke over the room, loud and clear. I was showing off my trophies. He paused, turned his head toward Gabe, who refused to meet his eyes and answered the second charge. As for Cartley, I did not march in. I went to save my family. Gabe still didn't look at him, Merverlin added, flat and cold. Their alpha hair kidnapped my stepsister. Alfred nodded once. All right, we'll take these charges one at a time. Merverlin sat. Alfred scanned the room. Where is Alpha Gregor? No one answered from the floor. Gabe rose and addressed the bench with respectful calm. Your Honor, my father is recuperating from illness. I am representing Cartley. Alfred inclined his head. Do you admit to Alpha Merverlin's charges? I did not abduct her, Gabe said. She came to me and asked for help. She told me that her stepbrother, He hesitated, weighing his words, violated her. The crowd erupted in murmurs. Really? Violating his own stepsister? Who knows? Wasn't it consensual? An alpha like him can have any woman. Listening, Merverlin stayed loose, unbothered, a hint of mockery in his gaze as it flicked to Gabe. He didn't look afraid at all. Alfred struck the gavel for the 4th time. A weary sigh escaped him. This trial would not be wrapped up today. Not easily. Merverlin accepted the chips Gabe handed over, smiling, and finally laid down his purpose for coming. I'll accept questioning. But I only accept accusations from the person concerned. Where is she? Gabe's composure cracked. He shot to his feet, voice rising. She doesn't want to see you, not ever, never in her life. Is that so? Merverlin's tone was pure mockery. He glanced at the clock. His nostrils flared as a familiar sweet scent threaded the air. Right on cue, a delicate voice carried across the hall. Your Honor, allow me to testify on my own behalf. Here she comes. Esme's point of view. Everyone is watching me. Faces tight, eyes mixed with suspicion and pity. I stand at the entrance of the court, hands trembling. I shove them into my pockets and try not to drown in his scent, curling through all 4 corners of the room. I bite my tongue. This is the right thing, right? I'm doing the right thing. Your Honor, I am Esme Gold, adopted daughter of the late Alpha Wismail and Luna Noemi of the Golden Claw Pack. I am Alpha Merverlin's stepsister. Gabe reaches me first, worry etched across his face. Esme, what are you doing here? He glances past me. Where's Clavio? I look up and steady my voice. I had to come, Gabe. He stares, disbelieving. Then Merverlin strides over, imperious as ever. Get out of the way. Gabe doesn't move. He turns, shielding me, and addresses the bench. Your Honor, Merverlin Gold should be restrained from approaching Miss Esme at this time. The judge nods. The bailiffs step in, forming a wall around me. But over their shoulders, I catch Merverlin's look cold, threatening. A shiver rushes through me before I can stop it. My nostrils flare at the sight of Gabe standing between us. Because of me. I can't put him in danger. No. My shout cuts the air. The crowd looks. Merverlin, who has been staring at me this whole time, finally smiles, satisfied. This is what he wanted. The judge rises, voice firm. Miss Esme, make yourself clear. I push past the bailiffs and walk to the center of the courtroom. The lie tears out of me in one breath. I'm here to prove my brother's innocence. He didn't violate me. The judge narrows his eyes, skeptical. Miss Esme, you don't need to be afraid. The law will protect you. I lift my chin. I fix my gaze on the statue of the moon goddess behind him. I draw a breath steady, deep. I swear before the moon goddess that what I, Esme Gold, say is true. The punishment is instant. My heart seizes, squeezed by an unseen hand. Pain lances through my chest, but I can't let anyone see. I swallow the tears and turn to Gabe, frozen where he stands. I shake my head. I'm sorry, Gabe, I used you. His frown deepens. He keeps shaking his head, muttering words I can't catch. My stepbrother, meanwhile, saunters toward me, smug, victorious. This court pronounces judgment, Alfred declares. All charges against the defendant, Merverlin Gold, are dismissed. As a humanitarian measure, Golden Claw Pack is required to provide Yearwood with 3,000 Omegas and 2,000 Betas to assist in restoring its construction. He won, again. Flashback. Clavio was supposed to lead me to the city, but we kept veering off the path. I tilted my head to glance at him, nerves skittering. He's huge. If I ran, he'd catch me, and if I tried, I'd only make him angry. Birdie, that's rude, he said suddenly. His rough voice scraped over my skin. And I shivered, taking 2 steps away without thinking. Don't worry, I won't do anything to you, he added with a low laugh. I just have secrets to tell you. I stared, trying to look menacing. What? He didn't come closer. He swayed where he stood. Your brother told me to tell you. Brother Merverlin He was sent by Merverlin. My face shifted defensive to stunned, frozen as he leaned in and whispered, slow and deliberate. Gabe is a bastard. What? That Laura was originally his father's maid, but he let it hang, then smiled. What do you think would happen if this got out to the public? Gabe would lose everything, his rights, his family, maybe even his life. Merverlin was threatening me. That's what he does best, threaten everything I care about. End of flashback. To cover my own lies, I followed Merverlin back. The place that had been attacked looked restored, as if nothing had happened. Even the pink dresses Luna Noemi bought me were back in my closet. I brushed my fingers over the fabric, guilt tightening in my chest. Merverlin said nothing. He just shadowed me, watching. I didn't look back. Take me to the... I stopped. What should I call them? Alpha and Luna. Or Dad and Mom. He knew what I meant. Answer me first, he said softly. Why did you run? My fingers clenched the hem of the skirt. I didn't want to remember that night. Did he really not know why? Doesn't he know this place is hell for me? I kept my mouth shut and turned to face him. For the first time since I came back, I looked him straight in the eye. I would not give him what he wanted. I would not be one of his toys. My silence enraged him. His dark eyes flushed red, nostrils flared, jaw locked. I whimpered when he slammed me back onto the bed, his hands clamping my shoulders. He glared at me with those burning eyes. Did that man make you do it? Huh? He thinks everyone is like him, using dirty coercion to get what they want. Say something. I met his stare and smirked. Just get it over with, Merverlin. You know what you want. Something flickered across his face, something I couldn't place. His jaw clenched. A tear slipped as he buried his face against my neck. I'm in this hell again. When will this stop? Since you want it, I'll fulfill you. Undress yourself. Now, he ordered. Merverlin's point of view. She stripped the last piece of cloth away, and there she was, nothing left to hide. She's grown into a beautiful woman, full curves. A body that tempts sin. She tried to cover herself with thin arms and small hands, but we both knew it did nothing. If anything, it teased. Clothes were always a hindrance between me and what I wanted. Seeing her without them, it should have driven me mad. I glanced up at her face. Blank. No fear, no tears. Like she couldn't even feel me here. The hunger drained out of me. It's ugly, I muttered. I walked out. I'd had enough of that empty look. 2 men waited in the hall when I opened the door. I lifted a brow at Clavio still here, still waiting like an obedient dog. Usually he'd run as soon as I told him to leave. He dropped his gaze when he caught my suspicion. I looked to Beta Donson. Guard her room. Make sure she doesn't leave and doesn't die inside. He bowed. Yes, Alpha. Training ground. Gamma Rio bowed as I approached. How many are there? I asked. He lifted his head, eyes still lowered. 2,567 Alpha. His Yordish accent was thick. I looked over the crowd faces confused. No clue why they'd been gathered. You should pick fewer men, I said. Women can't go into battles. They are sick and weak, Alpha, he said carefully. They won't last long. They'll die on the Yearwood soil. He finally raised his eyes to meet mine. And my strong and wise Alpha, it isn't true that women can't fight. Have you ever wondered why the moon goddess is a woman? I turned my head toward him. The nerve of him lecturing me about women and war. He saw my frown and lowered his gaze again. Group them up. We march before sundown. Just wait. It's not over yet. He locked me up again. I was lying on the bed, my back to the door, when I heard 2 people arguing outside. Open the door. You can't go inside. The Alpha says, fuck off. No. Blam. Stupid fuck. I didn't have to see him to know who it was. His scent, strong, impossible, could cling to my lungs for hours. You okay, little bird? Clavio asked. I didn't know what he wanted, but I refused to believe he was worried. The mattress dipped as his weight sank onto the side of my bed. You did the right thing. You saved that other dog with a crown. You should be proud of yourself. I scoffed. Proud? I'm dying here. I don't want to be around the devil. He let out a long, heavy sigh. I kept my face to the wall. I didn't want to see anyone. If I could, I'd die like this silent. Still, it won't last, he said quietly. He found his chosen mate. You won't have to suffer like this again. He'll marry soon. His words snapped my eyes open. I turned, sat up, and stared at him. Really, it was the only way out now. If he married his mate, maybe, just maybe, he'd leave me alone. The big guy just nodded. You should eat before he comes back, little bird. You don't want him to give you a black eye, do ya? I'm not hungry, and I'm supposed to believe that. I can hear your stomach rumbling from miles away. If I eat, will you leave? I shot back. To me, he was nothing more than Mervelin's helper, not to be trusted at all. Yeah, probably. That's the only reason I'm here in the first place. I gotta make sure you're being fed. You forced your way into my room, I cut in. I'm sure Beta Dawson didn't want you here. He shrugged. Like there's anything he can do about it anyway. He really was different from the others. No respect for Mervelin, none. He sighed. Don't embarrass me, just eat. I frowned. I thought you didn't care about Mervelin's orders. He shook his head, paused, then met my eyes. It's complicated. But right now, I'm serving Alpha Gabe of the Cartley pack. My jaw went slack. What was he talking about? No loyalty at all. He even dared to betray a devil like Mervelin. Unashamed of his rogue status. He'd never shake off those wild instincts. Once a rogue. Always a rogue. Fine, I'll eat, I muttered. Clavio handed me the plate and watched while I ate the piece of lamb. He stayed until I finished. Just like he said he would, he left with the empty plate. As the door clicked shut, my wolf stirred. I want to run. She hardly ever spoke. She never came when I needed help. She slept through everything, and this was the first time she demanded anything from me. Run? My arms began to stiffen, muscles tightening. It felt like she was taking control. Double, we can't run. There's a guard outside the door, and there are no windows to escape from. We're staying here. Run. I fought for control with everything I had, but she was too strong. Don't blame me. I only met her recently. I don't even know how a wolf-werewolf relationship is supposed to work. Do I tame her? Or is she supposed to tame me? Hey, stop. The last time I shifted was in the woods. I told myself it was just emotions, stress, panic. But now I don't know what I show. Ow! My head smacked the corner of the bed frame. Stars burst behind my eyes. They always talk about blocking one's wolf. How do they do that? Because I need to block mine. I lunged toward the door. What's wrong with you? A familiar voice roared from the doorway. My eyes flew wide as my own hands pressed against the chest of the man I hated most. I looked up at Mervelin. His brows drew together, confusion shadowing his face. Are you asking for it? He said, a sharp, sarcastic smile cutting across his lips. Thud. 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 What is this? What is this weird feeling? Mate.